Hey everybody, I'm TJ with TJ's Magic Touch, and today I'll be showing you how to design and assemble a custom bubble label. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. Please consider subscribing, and if you're returning, thank you so much for the continued support. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is click on Create New. This will open up your new document panel. We're going to change our format from pixels to inches. We are going to type in 2 for our width, and we are also going to type in 2 for our height. For resolution, we are going to type in 300 and continue to work in pixels per inch, and then click Create. Is the background or the sizing close to the lid that we're going to need. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to our shape tool and we're going to click on ellipse. This allows us to draw a circle. Over to the right in our properties panel, we're going to uncheck this little chain link. It's your aspect ratio, and that will allow us to type in 1.5 for width and 1.5 for height in order to give us a perfect circle. Right here, my circle dropped in with a dotted line. So under appearance, I'm going to change this stroke to a solid stroke. This helps me see the circle better. I'm going to click on my move tool in order to move the circle to the center of the page. After doing so, I'll go back over to stroke. I'll remove the outline, and then I'm left with a perfect circle. So now, after changing my stroke to no stroke, I'm going to go down to my background layer and click on the little eye to remove the background. Making the background transparent in this method allows us to work in a non-damaging way. Now for our design method, I like to utilize what's called the drag and drop method. These are the images I'll be using for this design. They came from MUJKA clip arts. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description box below if you are interested in any of the clip arts that you see being used here. And now I'm going to show you how to actually drag and drop. I'll take my image from the folder, drag it across the screen, and drop it into my workspace. Okay, after placing my image on the screen, I'll go up top to layer and I'll go down to where it says create clipping mask, and this pops the image into our circle. So right here, when I went to move my image, it didn't move it equally. So Control Z pops it back to where I had it. I'm going to go back up top and I'm going to re-click that little chain link that we unclicked earlier, that aspect ratio. This allows us to move the image and have all the pieces move, or have the image move equally instead of just smushing one side or the other. Now for the rest of the lid, I'm just going to drag and drop a few more clip art in, and then we'll be done with this part. Now that I think I have the lid where I want it to be, because remember this is only 1.5 in inches, so we can't do a whole lot to it. I'm going to go to File and Create New. I will set up a document at 8.5 by 11, which is your standard size paper. Make sure all of my ratios are correct in my panel, and then I will click Create. This opens up our second document. So I'll go back to our original document. I will go to layer and then I will merge visible. After merging visible, this gives us one image and leaving that background there still unchecked. Now I'm going to pull the workspace down so that I can drag and drop this new image onto the sheet. This is how you'll set up the first part of your print sheet. I'll do 4 toppers and 4 wrappers per page. So I'll get the topper and I'll push it off to the side. I'll click on the layer and I'll drag it down to this plus sign down here, and that copies the layer. I'll keep that layer selected and I'll drag it onto the plus sign, and I'll do that until I have 4 on the page. Now to design our wrapper, we'll go to File and Create New. Under Details, we'll change our pixels to inches. We are going to change our width to 5.5. And then we are going to change our height to 2 inches. We're also going to make sure that our resolution is set at 300. We'll continue to work in pixels per inch, then click Create. For the wrapper, I'm doing the same technique that I used with the lid, which is just the drag and drop method. I'll be dragging and dropping elements into the wrapper until I get a design that I'm comfortable with. The spacing between the letters or between the text, I just showed this technique in my last video, the Sweet Tarts wrapper video, so be sure to check that out if you want to see that a little bit closer. I'm going to change the look of the text by opening up the FX box, and this will pop up your layer style. In here you can mess with adding strokes, the different blending options like bevel and emboss. You can add drop shadows, and I just kind of play around until the text looks how I kind of want it to look. And now I'm going to continue messing with the clip art and different elements of this image until the wrapper looks the way that I want it to look, and then I get ready to set it up for print. To change the style of your font, you'd click on the layer of text that you'd want to change, highlight it, and this opens up all of your text or all of your fonts at the top left-hand corner of your workspace, and then you can scroll through until you find a font that you like. So now I'm happy with the way this looks. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the lids, only this time when I go to layer, I'm going to flatten the entire image instead of merge visible because we're keeping the background. And then I'm going to drag and drop it onto my print sheet. Okay, now for assembly. Only thing you're going to need for this is your printed out design, some scissors and double-sided tape, as well as a hole punch, or you can use sticker paper, in which case all you would need is a pair of scissors and your hole punch. Don't forget your bubbles. One thing I forgot to mention is that you may possibly need a finger Exacto knife for the sticker paper. What I did was scored along the edges so that I didn't have to pull off the whole sheet, because my bubbles have ridges in them and I didn't want the paper to be all wrinkly. It's a technique that kind of worked, kind of didn't, because the paper did rip since I wasn't trying to cut all the way through. That is all for this video. I hope you found it useful. You were able to learn a thing or two. You picked up a couple extra tips along the way. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't done so already, please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video, and I'll see you in the next one.